Okay, good morning everybody. So it's about 7 o'clock. I got up and I went ahead and edited the video that I need to do tonight, so that's out of the way, and I have a lot of work ahead of me. I have a big old mess and it's scattered all over the place, so I've got a lot of cleaning to do. I kind of told the owner that I'm aiming to get down to the river at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, so I am going to get moving and hopefully get all this packed up and be ready by then to get down to the water and back out onto Oahe. Okay, I'm continuing to pack things up. I've got all the food resealed in bags, and because I'm a little short on breakfast and have a lot of suppers for breakfast, I'm having lasagna. Not normal, but that's it'll be fine. So lasagna and coffee. It's going to be an interesting combination. But yeah, I'm just continuing to clean up. Next, I got to get this huge rat nest of a table cleaned up, get all the wires put away, and all the electronics in the spots where they go. So I'm going to keep chipping away at this. Okay, it's now 9:30. I've got the boat loaded and the truck. Everything's squared away. So now I'm going to head down to the boat ramp and get out onto the lake. Alex just dropped me off. I really want to say thank you. I really enjoyed my time here. And I've got the boat here down at the water. So I'm going to get it in the water and get all this stuff loaded and head out. Okay, I'm on the water and it's fairly calm. There's been several small little thunderstorms I've rolled through, and I've heard a little bit of thunder this morning, but hopefully they'll all miss me and I'll have a great day out here on the lake. It's fairly calm, there's not much wind, so hopefully I can get a big chunk of the mileage left to the dam done today. Okay, so it's about 10:30 and I'm just cruising along this shoreline, and it is a beautiful day. It's like 73. I got a light headwind and about 6-inch, maybe 8-inch waves, so I'm having a great time. Okay, so it's almost noon and the wind has stopped. The lake is turning to glass and it's gotten pretty hot. But it's okay, I've got the fan and I'm staying cool underneath my sunshade. So I've been kind of snacking on the Peak Refuel freeze-dried cookie bites. They're pretty good. And for lunch, since I have, I'm a little short on lunches, I have a cold weather meal, spicy oriental chicken with rice. So I have to actually boil water for that. So we'll see. It's so calm, I might actually do that on the water. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but I think it'll work. So I'll play around with that eventually once I get a little more hungry than I am. And yeah, it's a beautiful day out here. Well, I'm not sure it's a smart idea, but it's so calm out that I'm boiling water on the water and gonna add it to the Oriental style spicy chicken and vegetables with rice. So it's just now coming to a boil, and gonna turn it off, pour it in this bag, and then continue down this shoreline here. I've kind of turned a little bit as I've been setting this stove up, but that's okay. I will get back on track and keep going. So I'm rounding another point here, and there's some boulders that stick out in the water, and way out here there's a sneaky one just barely sticking out of the water. So hopefully it doesn't get too shallow as I roll past these. But there are some big old rocks here. But yeah, so kind of the plan right now, it's still super calm and absolutely beautiful out here. Once I get to this next point here, I'm going to try to head straight across. So it's 2 miles across at the shortest, or it's 3 miles to keep going straight all the way across the water. And it's super calm, and I'm going to try to get this crossing out of the way while the weather's like this. So once I get to this point, I'm going to try to power across as quickly as possible and continue down the other side of Lake Oahe for the first time. Okay, so it's about 2:30 and I'm now at the point where I was going to cross across to the other side, but there's no reason that I had to do it right here. It was just because it was really calm. But as I've gotten up to this point, I've got a pretty good headwind coming in now. So I don't think it'd be an issue, but at the same time, this headwind could double and the lake could get pretty nasty, and I don't want to be in the middle of that when that happens. So I'm going to continue down this shoreline and just keep an eye on the lake. If it calms down again, I'll see if there's another good spot to cross over. I have quite a few miles to go before I have to cross over, so I'm perfectly fine with continuing down this shore. Okay, so the wind's died down. The shoreline, there's a big open water crossing to there, but there's actually a little island in front of me here, which is pretty interesting. It's the first like big island I've seen on Oahe, and yeah, I'm gonna wrap around that and try to get to the other shore. I'm gonna try to power across as hard as I can and get there before the weather changes again, and then follow that far shore. So according to Google, it's about 2 miles across to that shore, and it's about 4 miles to the tip here of the next bend. And I think that's what I'm gonna aim for. I don't know if it's the smartest idea, but it's been pretty nice all afternoon. So other than that little bit of headwind that popped up. So I'm going to try to cut this corner off and save me quite a few miles on the lake, and get to the other shore. So that's the plan. I'm just 4 miles, so it's probably going to take me a little over an hour of hard pedaling. So I'm just going to try to get it done as quickly as possible. Okay, so it finally happened. My pedals broke. So the gear link here, there's plastic teeth that catch on this bicycle chain that hold the wheel in place, and all the teeth just broke. So this one's free flowing and no longer working. So I'm gonna get to this island right here and break out my other set, and then look about ordering some parts for this one. So luckily my parents are supposed to come up here in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. So hopefully I can get them the parts and they can bring them up to me, and I can get this thing up and running again. So not ideal, but not the end of the world. I am prepared for this. So yeah, just something interesting that happens. It was bound to happen on this trip, as many miles as I've been doing. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Well, I've done a little bit of research online. I'm still paddling very slowly towards this island here. And apparently you can't just replace this sprocket here, the one that broke. You have to, in fact, buy this entire spine assembly, which is, well over $300, which really sucks. So we'll see. I don't know what the plan is. I do have another set of pedals at home. They are a much older version of these pedals, but they do work. So we'll see. I might just switch them out, and then if I have another problem, I can order the part. But it does not look like it's going to be a very fun job to switch out that spine out here on the water. So not sure I'll have the tools to do that. So yeah, not exactly ideal. I mean, it was not unexpected, but still not awesome. So I'm just pedaling towards this little island here, and once I get there, I'll get up on shore and get my other set of pedals out of the bag, and then hopefully continue across the other side. So yeah, that's the plan. Okay, so I just left this little island / swampy area, and I just pulled up on shore and got into the deck bag, and I pulled out my other set of pedals. So they're the kind of the same thing. They're the 180 version. You can put them in reverse, but these aren't kick up. So if you hit something, they just kind of bend this metal piece or break. So not exactly the best thing ever, but they'll be fine on this lake. So I'm going to get going with these and hopefully get across this lake to the other side. Okay, so these feel a lot tighter than the other ones do, even before they break. Like, I feel like I'm going faster with less effort. So So maybe they were the other ones were getting a lot more worn out than I realized. But yeah, so these feel really nice pedaling wise, so that's pretty awesome. It's 3:30 and I'm now starting my way across the lake. It's basically glass. I've got a little island here that I stopped at, and the other shore is over here, and I'm heading straight across to that far shore. So it's about 4 miles. It looks like there's an island kind of out in the middle, so that's kind of interesting. So I'm gonna head towards that and see what it is, and just keep heading across. Actually, it just got really shallow on me, so it's definitely not ideal, especially with the pedals that I have. So hopefully I can get out of this. I don't know what's going on with this island here, or if I chose to cross over in the shallowest section on the entire lake. I don't know. This is kind of interesting and not exactly ideal. Well, it's gotten really shallow, so I decided to break out the paddle and just go ahead and paddle this through, and we'll see how this goes. At some point it'll get deeper, but there's a huge shallow section right where I decided to cross over, which is really annoying. But the cool thing is there's a big old carp feeding right there, so that's interesting. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep paddling and hopefully get out some deeper water. I really haven't had an issue with water depth this entire lake until the spot where I decided to cross over, so it's kind of interesting. Okay, so I managed to drop this in the water as I was getting the pedals out, and it's still working, so that's pretty awesome. This is actually the second time I've dropped this in the water. First time it went under for just a second and it just kept on going, and this time it was underwater for like a second or two, and then I finally grabbed it. So yeah, not exactly ideal, but it's still working. And I'm back to pedaling again. It's gotten deeper, and I'm kind of afraid to turn the fan off because I don't want it to not turn back on again. So yeah, just gonna keep going. This hasn't been the best afternoon I've had, but I'm just gonna keep going. So the lake is turned to glass, and it is absolutely beautiful out here. And I'm just making my way across. So it should be about 3 miles to that point. That is the tip of the next turn. So the lake makes a left-hand turn and then turns again, and that's the point right there that I'm heading towards. So I'm able to cut off quite a few miles, which is pretty nice. So these pedals feel amazing. Like, I feel like I'm going so much faster with less effort, so that's pretty awesome. So I should have switched over a while ago, but that's okay. It'll be fine. So it's 4:30 and I'm about 2 miles away from the point right there. So I'm getting there. I'm like right in the middle. So all around me are just crazy amount of water, and it's extremely calm. Absolutely beautiful out here. Okay, it's 5 o'clock. I finally made it across, and I'm on the western shore of Lake Oahe. So that's pretty exciting, and the point is right here ahead of me. So once I get around that, I'm going to be heading almost straight west for a little bit until the next turn. Pretty exciting stuff. So I rounded the point, and I'm now on the other side of Lake Oahe, and I'm following this curve around. It should turn to the right here and then almost immediately turn left again. So we'll see how far we can get today. It's about 5:30 now. So I've still got quite a few hours of pedaling left to do. These new pedals feel amazing. So that's really nice. And yeah, I've already got the video edited today, so I can go until almost dark, and I'm looking forward to it. Well, it's happening again. It's a little bit after 6, and I'm heading straight into the sun again. So it's not a whole lot of fun. It's really quite blinding, but that's okay. Just got to work my way around the corner here, and I'll be fine. So it's 7:30. I've now made it around the turn enough that the sun isn't directly ahead, which is really nice. And I've got a bit of a tailwind, which is starting to pick up the waves, so they're getting a little bigger. Nothing too much to worry about, but definitely rolling the boat a little bit. But that's okay. And it's an actual tailwind for once, you know, until I make the next turn. But still, pretty nice. So I'm just gonna continue down this shoreline until the evening gets a little later and it cools off a little bit more. And then, so I should have a nice easy day tomorrow to the dam. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, so it's about 8:30 and I think I pulled off for the night. I have a big open water crossing to do, but the lake's not very happy. So it's not really an issue, but I didn't want to get all the way across there and not find a good place to camp and have to keep going with the light almost gone. So I decided to stop for the night. So yeah, I'm gonna set up the tent up here on this flat area and go from there. It's kind of weird being on the opposite side of the lake and the sun is setting, you know, on this side now. So kind of interesting. Okay, so I haven't got the tent set up yet. I'm not moving very fast, but I still got like 45 minutes of light. So it's not the end of the world. So for supper, I have a good to go meal of mushroom risotto. So these have not been my favorite brand of meals so far, but this one's kind of like their famous one. It's supposed to be good, so hopefully it is. So I'm gonna get this rehydrating and then I'll get working on setting the tent up. Well, that worked out perfectly that I just decided to make supper early because that particular meal has to rehydrate for 20 minutes. So that seems like a lot, but it's okay. I still gotta get my tent set up, so I'm gonna get started on that. Okay, so the sun is set. I had supper. It was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. And yeah, I've got the tent set up behind me and I'm going to hop in there and go to bed. So with that, I'm going to say good night. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.